A part of my anxiety too is like a lot of it is genes and genetics. Not always, but sometimes. And my whole family has had long labors that ended in C-sections. So for me, I'm like, that's the exact thing I don't want. But then I look at it as back in the day, it was so traditional, so old school, whereas now they're telling you to do so many things naturally. Like, they're preparing you a lot more than they did back in the day. They let you just, like, they just let you handle your pregnancy, and then they put you on your back and let you push. I don't know why they could push out 12 kids back then, yo.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think it was actually easier then, because not to mention they were eating way better. They were preparing better. They were active the whole time.
I don't think the medical intervention
you know what I mean?
was a good piece. I think it's better now.
What do you mean?
They encourage you more so to prepare. Like, there's all these ways you can make your labor easier just from you being in your pregnancy.
But Shawnna, everything we're doing now is not new. The system we're basing things on isn't very far advanced from what was happening in the 80s.
Midwives, I know midwives are old, but there wasn't a lot back then, right? I think it's becoming a real big time.
That's only North America,
now.
Actually. Only in North America.
In Jamaica, they had midwives for years.
No,
I know that.
Then what? Like, this is why you need to watch The Business of Being Born. The majority of the world still gives natural births, and the Americas actually have a higher death rate during birth than other countries that give natural birth.
Why?
I have no idea, but they have a higher death rate during birth than those countries. That's why you need to watch The Business of Being Born. We're not talking out our ass when we say
I want to after I go through labor.
That's why I was pretty set on, or not was, but that's why I'm pretty set on having a natural birth and that sort of thing.
There's no big physical transition. Like,
and that too, and like everything's there.
Bathe them, rub them up, and it's like, hey, there's your crib. There's your crib.
And then I'm back in my bed, like, all right, I'm sleeping.
I get that. Like, I don't know. I think
like that.
As much as I'm a homebody, I'm so surprised that I'm not like so like, hey, home birth for me. Like, I think women who do that, that's great. And then when it's successful and healthy, that's great. I just worry about if there's a need to go to the hospital in the middle of all of that, to then get up and then change your whole birth plan. Boy, not that that happens much, I don't think. But it's a possibility, right?
Well, that's the thing.
I'd rather just be in the hospital where if I need anything, it's faster to get, I guess.
But again, I'm not giving birth, so this process is something I could say. Actually, no, this is what I want to do. So,
I think you have it all planned out, but once you're pregnant and you're realizing, it's the same with a name.
But that's
you're so sold on a name, and then you're like, I'm pregnant. This is like gonna stick now.
Yeah.
Do I really like this name? So it's the same with how you want to have your baby. It's like when you have to make that final decision, you might learn more other options that sound better to you that you didn't think about before, or you know what I mean? So you just never know.
For sure.
So even though like people have, like, for example, even though I have a midwife or whatever, you still think like I'm gonna have a typical hospital experience? Is that how you look at it? Compared to like okay, so there's a good example. Like, there's Zoila's way. There's my way, which is still both hospital, but different different prenatal care, and then it's gonna be different labor and delivery and postpartum care, and then your way, the home birth, or Lauren's way, I should say. That's examples that we've already had. And Lauren's way sounds best to you, and I think you have to do the midwife for the home birth.
You need
so
to
you are okay with the midwife, but
need to do
for me, it's like, okay, you have the midwife, cool, but the hospital part, no, I want the home part. Whereas like Zoila's example is like the OB and the like Zoila did the whole traditional thing that I think me and you are just kind of like NASA.
We're good.
Like, even though I'm okay with the hospital, I feel like I don't have the nurses of the hospital.
You're like
I have
a happy medium.
Yeah.
Whatever process people choose to take is definitely best suited to the research they've done and the information they have available to them. So it's like whatever you found has suited your interest because you've looked it all up, or you found what makes sense for you. Whereas for some people, they haven't done the research. So having a baby will follow exactly the standard anybody else has for having a baby. It's also nice that the hospital is recognizing there's so many different ways to have birth that are a lot easier on the woman as much as it is easier on the child.
Yeah.
By having the option to have a pool in the hospital room, not a pool, a tub, like you're saying pool.
What if you end up with a water birth? Because they could be like, oh, want to go in your tub for pain relief, which is an easier decision because it's your tub. For me, it's like, I think I'm going to end up doing it because I keep reading how, like, Wellness Mama, I read her story. She ended up having like a breech baby vaginally. Water birth, and she's like, oh, the water, like that's how she started the water part.
Really?
Like she's just like, man, I minimize the amount and she's going through a different, because of the breech, she's going through a different feeling than a regular birth.
And she did it at home?
At
home birth?
Yeah, and this is her 6th kid, so it was different from a lot of her other ones.
So she had
and
at
she
home
said this
births
was her shorter labor, so she's like, I can't attest to the dates and some other things she mentioned, but this is the facts. This is one of my shorter, this is what I did do my other pregnancies and stuff. So I was like, eating more dates.
So wait, all her births were home births?
No.
Oh,
this one was out of the 6.
Okay.
But she was comparing this one, especially it being breached, to all her others, and it turned out to be shorter in the end.
And it was a water
even
birth
though she's saying the
home?
pain was excruciating. And
don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.